Well,
I'm back. Not
well,
here.
well. Did you miss me? Would you like to hug and kiss me? Huh?
Best friends, y'all gonna get her for 5.5 seconds. Watch.
Huh? What you say? They gonna do what?
They're gonna get you for 5.5 seconds. Watch.
Listen, why you
Watch
say
what I
that?
say.
Why you say that?
Go ahead, carry on.
Why you say that?
Because
What?
you
Tell me.
ain't best friends. When I tell you your best friend has been struggling, okay?
Did you say struggling?
She's been struggling, okay?
What?
So y'all gonna get her for about 5.5 seconds.
Y'all, okay, so Sean seems to think that this is gonna be a quick hitter, girl. That this is gonna be an in and an out. Girl, she jumped the gun. We haven't even explained or introduced who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. Can you pull up the comment?
Yes,
Hi.
I can.
Hi. Listen, for those of you guys who have never been with us before, you have no idea who we are, where you found yourself, or maybe it's just been a while. I am Candy Sincerity Johnson.
And I am Sean Johnson.
And together we do a whole lot of things. A whole lot of things. But the reason why you're here and the reason why we're here is we talk about all things money, all things finance, all things business, all things pleasure, all things, girl.
All things.
We talk about all things. And we intertwine and we interweave those things into our business. One of our businesses is Sincerity Johnson, which is our online women's fashion brand. Mm-hmm. And then one of our businesses is my business and consulting, my expertise, girl. Yes. Top of the brand. You know what I'm saying? That's the Candy Sincerity Johnson brand. So listen, best friends, it's been a couple of days and we have not been live. Mm-hmm. Y'all been sending us stuff in the inbox. Girl, people been wanting to know our perspective on things. People all across the lands have been asking, girl, what do you think? Mm-hmm. Did you see thus and so? Did this happen, girl? These people over here went live. Somebody apologize. Somebody clown somebody for apologizing. Girl, all of this stuff has been happening. And you guys have been just sending everything in to us. Mm-hmm. And you like, girl, when will we get to the table? When will we dissect? Okay. All right. That's what you came for. But in full transparency, life has been lifing. Mm-hmm. Huh? Life has been lifing. If you are a best friend of Candy, a best friend of Sean, a best friend of Candy and Sean, a best friend of the Sincerity Johnson brand, if you've been around, then you know that my father has been very, very, very sick. Yes. Right? Mm-hmm. Let me know in the comments. Have you heard something about Candy Daddy sick? Candy, all of the things, right? Listen, I did not go live yesterday. Yesterday was a whirlwind. So much has happened to us. Mm-hmm. So, in full transparency, look, y'all, I tell y'all the story about the Band-Aid, how I almost cut my finger open. I'll tell you that whole thing too. But life has been lifing. Okay, so something very critical happened to us and our family on yesterday, and I wanted to share that with you guys. The long and short is, if you're looking for the scoop on, the apology, the fallout, the this, the that, I don't know. Okay, I don't know, girl. I don't know. Here's why I don't know. I don't know because I have not had time to stop. I have not had time to scroll. I have not time to do anything. I have not had time to do anything besides show up for my family, be the best daughter that I can be, support, my children and my spouse and my siblings through this transition or through everything that's been happening. And yeah.
And try to be there for her coaching clients.
Yes. So I've been working through a lot. Mm-hmm. So here's what has happened on my side of the table. I know y'all got everybody else's version, girl. Folks apologizing. Girl, people, look. I'm trying to tell the story, and girl, look what God said. God said, Rapunzel, let down your beautiful hair.
So needless to say, while she fixes her bun, a lot of times if we don't have time to look at the information that people are sending to us or just happen to come across it ourselves to look at it, to even see if there's enough there for us to come and talk about it, because you guys have to understand when we talk about things, we're not bloggers, we're not gossip bloggers, we don't just get up here and talk about stuff just to talk about it. If it doesn't have a business or money kind of lesson or something to interweave into it, we don't address it. So if you notice, we don't always talk about everything.
Yeah,
we talk about it if we can make it relevant to Candy's page and her mission and things like that. So we haven't even had time to look at what's been going on to see if, okay, is there something that we can make it full circle and be able to help you guys at the same time, as opposed to just getting up here and just talking.
Okay, so let me jump back in. So let me preface the conversation by saying this. There's gonna be times throughout the conversation with best friends I have to stop and I have to drink water, or I have to stop and I have to use my inhaler. Okay. Or I have to stop and I have to walk off camera because maybe, I need something else to, some of my other medicine that's going to help me and relieve me from having an asthma attack. My asthma has been flared up at an all-time high over the past several days. I have 3 triggers, y'all. One is stress. One is cold air, being outside with the climate change in Illinois. And one is cigarette smoke. I've not been around anybody with cigarette smoke. It's cold outside, and I am currently under a lot of stress. So that has been one thing that has been going on. So bear with me as we work through this video, because obviously the more I talk, the more winded I become, and the more I tend to cough, wheeze, etc. Right? Now, let's go to yesterday and what sparked this whole chain of events that caused me to be away from social media, off camera, and away from you guys. Okay. So I had every intention on going live. I had been looking at everything that's been trending on social media. I've been following a bunch of different things, and I had literally started making a list of all the things I want to talk to y'all about. Ever since even the Super Bowl, I want to talk Rihanna. Now that stuff ain't even great. Nobody even talking about that no more, girl. That came and went so fast. But it just goes to show you how swiftly life moves. You understand what I'm saying? How swiftly things change. So yesterday, I told Sean, I said, me, you, and the kids are going to get in the car. We're going to get in the truck and we're going to go see Daddy. Excuse me. We're going to get in the truck and we're going to go see Daddy. I said, Daddy's been asking about the kids. His health is progressively getting a little bit worse. Each day it seems like his pain is increasing. Things are changing. They're not seemingly changing for the good. And so he's been asking about the kids. The kids have been asking about him. And so I really wanted to take the kids down there so that they could see him. Mm-hmm. And then we also had it on the calendar where we were going to be going from Champaign, where Daddy's currently at, to a town called Bloomington, which is where Sean and I went to college and where we met. In Bloomington, we were going to be meeting up with our sorority sister and her husband, which happened to be Kennedy and Caleb's godparents. Mm-hmm. We had a bunch of plans for the day. We're going to spend Valentine's Day. Our goddaughter had a game where we're going to all get together, go to the game, do dinner, etc. So in my mind, I said, well, hey, we're going to be headed that way anyway. Let's pop over to the hospital, see Dad, spend time with him. Me, you, and the kids grab a little taste of lunch, then get on the road, drive 40 minutes, go spend time with, Shamari, Brandon, and the girls, then come home, and then that would be the day. Mm-hmm. Family. We're en route. The hospital that Daddy is at is about 2.5 hours from here. We get maybe 40 to 50 minutes outside of the town that we need to get to get to the hospital. I get a call. My grandma, which is my dad's mom, she knew that I was en route because I told her, I said, hey, we're getting ready to get on the road. If you need anything, you want me to pick you up something to eat, or, if there's anything you could think of that you may need, give us a call because we'll be there in a couple hours. So I'm thinking in my mind, when I see that she called, we're in the truck and it pops up on the screen of the truck. Mm-hmm. So I'm naturally thinking, oh, she wants me to stop by McDonald's, grab her something to eat, stop by, KFC, Popeyes, or whatever. She wants to place a little lunch order. When I call, she's screaming and hollering at the top of her lungs. Like she's crying uncontrollably and says, Candy, take me off of the speakerphone. I said, yes, ma'am. I take her off the speakerphone. I said, Grandma, what's wrong? She said, it's your dad. His blood pressure is dropping. His oxygen level is dropping. He's struggling to breathe, and it's not looking good. So she just falls apart. She like, I don't know what to do. They're working on him. You know, I literally don't know what to do. Hurry up and get here. I need you to hurry up and get here. So family, I'm driving. Sean is in the passenger seat and the kids are in the back. Kennedy has motion sickness, but my mind immediately goes towards, I have to get there because I can't live with something that happening to my dad and me not having one last opportunity to see him. Excuse me. So I hurry up and I floor it. I'll go from doing the typical 80 to 85 miles an hour that I do on the expressway to now I'm doing 105. I'm swerving, going around cars. I'm doing everything that I can to get there. Fast forward, family. Sean, myself, and the kids pull up in front of the hospital. I run up to his room, the room that he was previously in. I run up there, I'm out of breath. You know, I don't know what to expect because I know what the last call was. Also, I forgot a piece of the story. While my grandmother was telling me, hurry up and get there, I could hear her pause because there was a code over the intercom. They said, you know, whatever, it was like the equivalent to code blue. Room, blah, 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 blah. 700, blah, 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 blah. They was like, you know, cardiac arrest code, you know, blah, 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 blah. And they called his room. She said, oh my God, Candace, that's your dad. That's our room. That's his room. My heart sank. I fly down the expressway. I get there. We pull up in front of the hospital, family. I get there. I snatch a mask off the front desk. I dart to the elevators. There's 50 people standing there waiting on an elevator. I told them my father just coded. Can I please go ahead of you guys and get on the elevator? They say yes. I get on the elevator. I get to the 7th floor where he was, get off the elevator, and I run to his room. I'm standing outside the room. All I could see in the room was all this empty trash. You know how you see on a movie where they're working on somebody and then they have like different stuff that they've left. I see no bed. I see no person. I see no belongings. I just see trash in the spot where his bed previously was. I turn around and I look at the nurse's desk and there's nobody sitting there. I see people walking up and down the hallway, but it's very apparent that these people are visitors and that they're not nurses, CNAs, doctors, respiratory therapists, anything like that. So I'm looking around and I'm trying to find somebody because now my heart has completely sunk and I don't know what just happened in this room. I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? So I see a lady come out of a room and she clearly had on scrubs. So I asked her, I said, where's he? Where's he? I could barely talk. I'm almost having an asthma attack at this point. And so she said, oh, they took him to ICU. They said they took him to ICU. I immediately just looked up and just said, God, I thank you. God, I thank you. Because she could have said they took him to the morgue. She could have said they took him somewhere else. The lady said, oh, they took him to ICU. And I said, God, I thank you. And she said, I'm so sorry this happened. I said, don't be. Don't be. Because there was a different route that this thing could have went. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So I asked her for the room number. She said, oh, absolutely. I'll be happy to look it up for you. She goes around to the nurse's station. She looks it up and she gives me a piece of paper with the room number. And she said, now his wife, which is the lady that was with him, was escorted to the chaplain waiting area. I chuckled. I said, well, that's my grandma. That's actually his mother. So I run downstairs and I meet her. I give her this big hug. She proceeds, excuse me, family. She proceeds to tell me that they were working on him, that his blood pressure dropped, his oxygen level dropped, all of this stuff started happening, and how he just seemingly progressively got more and more sick. So the doctor had been in there to see him early part of the day. And by the time the doctor, because this particular doctor was still in the hospital, by the time the doctor got back to him, his stomach had got so much bigger than even earlier. And that's just from, everything that's going on with him. So it was just very, 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 it was a very difficult day. It was a very difficult day because when I had a chance to see my father, you could tell his pain level had increased, if that's even humanly possible. And that his body was much more weak and that he had just been through the fight of his life. So the doctors come in, they explain different things to us. And the long and short of it was that probably within another 24-hour period, he was looking at 2 or 3 more procedure type of situation. Excuse me. So we get through one thing, and we get through one thing, and we get through one thing. And so me being the one of the children or the child that was there, my responsibility was to communicate everything to my brothers. So you can imagine as everything is playing out, I'm having several conversations with several different people. Now, there's very sensitive information that's happening, very critical information. So then I'm stuck with the responsibility or stuck with the decision. That's the right word. I'm stuck with the decision of saying, okay, well, do you send this out via group text? Because that's the quickest way to get a lot of information out to a lot of people. And that's the way to make sure you don't miss anything. So as I'm working through all of this and communicating with everybody, my asthma starts to flare up. My asthma has been something to deal with for the past week or so. So now it's to the point where anytime I'm moving or I'm going anywhere, I have to have my inhaler, I gotta have my pills, I have to have my breathing treatment, and I literally have a backpack because anywhere I go, for the most part, I gotta be able to put on a mask, do a breathing treatment, etc. So I went from my asthma completely being under control to now it's just unbearable. I had every intention of going back down to see Dad today. Excuse me. But my asthma has had me so weak that I've been needing to sit close to home. So they have him in ICU. So my aunt, which is my dad's sister, and myself, you guys seen Aunt Lisa on the page. She may be in the comments or she may watch the replay. You guys probably seen me mention her before. But my aunt and I were in his room and we were walking out of his room. As we were walking out of his room, there were a couple of nurses at the nurses station, and then there was a doctor that was standing there. And they were standing around talking, and one of the nurses said, "Hey, I have a question." And we were like, "Yes, And so the nurse was asking us, does your mom know exactly how sick he is? And so we were saying, yeah, we think so. We think so. But I was just expressing to them that she's been through so much. She's been through so much. And so this is hard for his brother and sister, rightfully so. This is hard for his children, rightfully so. But could you imagine what this is doing to his mother? So I proceeded to say, that this would theoretically be the second child out of 4. You see what I'm saying? And so, I just had a conversation with them and I said, just give the information and give it, in its 100%, whatever. Don't beat around the bush. Nobody's looking for pity or sympathy, but just make sure when you give the information, communicate the full picture. Because, God's will was going to be God's will. And so that is pretty much what yesterday looked like for me. So because the kids were there, now keep in mind, remember, as Sean, myself, and the twins were en route, my dad was in one room. He was in a traditional room. So in that traditional room, I'm sure kids can come and go, adults can come and go, you can have visitors. During the process of us getting in the car and going that way, things change. You see what I'm saying? So now we're looking at an intensive care unit. So when we finally got there and I rushed upstairs and got down to the waiting room where my grandma was and realized that he was still with us, I realized that now we're on the intensive care side. Things are much more critical. So now Sean goes and parks the truck. Her and the kids come inside. They now come upstairs. But now the kids can't see that. See what I'm saying? Dad can't see the kids. So I walk in Dad's room. He's like, hey, baby. I was like, hey, Superman. And he just smiled. And he said, where's the babies? I thought you was bringing the babies. And I was like, they're in the waiting room. They won't let them see. They won't let them come back. Soon as the nurse come in, Dad's like, my grandkids are out there. Can my grandkids, I need to see my grandkids. He was like, let my grandkids back. And so the nurse was like, sir, no, unfortunately on this unit, we can't, this and that. And he was really upset about it. But you have on one side of the door, because you go through the double doors that separate that section of the hospital. So on one side of the door, he's begging to see Kennedy and Caleb. Then on the other side of the door, you got Kennedy and Caleb begging to see him. And so luckily their godfather, our friend, excuse me, he works in this town that the hospital is in. So Sean reaches out to him and says, hey, we drove down together. We know you're at work, but when you get off work, can you do us a favor and slide by the hospital and pick, me and the kids up? We ride home with you and then go to the game and stuff with all of you guys. And then Candy will, pick us up a little bit later. So they gave me more time at the hospital with my father. So in addition to that, it just was a whirlwind of a day because, even hours later, once I got back to Sean and the kids and, I got back to Bloomington, stopped to get gas, grabbed something to eat, and I walked in and I just looked at Kennedy and Caleb. So, I spent a little bit of time with all of our friends there and, everything. And then I had to do a breathing treatment and eat a little bit. And then Sean, myself, and the kids got on the road and we came home. But it was during that car ride home that I had to have probably one of the hardest conversations. Because it was during that car ride home that I had to explain to Kennedy and Caleb exactly where we are with this thing. So I had to tell Kennedy and Caleb, look, they call him G-Dad. Look, G-Dad, he's in the hospital. And, they've had to do some surgery and some different things to help him out. But it's a little bit different than how Mommy or Mima went into the hospital, had surgery, and came out. It's a little bit different. So I had to break it down to them at a 9-year-old level. And this is the first time that they're having to go through this process with somebody that's close to them. So I didn't know what they were going to say or how they were going to react or how they were going to respond. And so I felt like it was the appropriate time to have this conversation with them while we were driving home because I knew in my mind I needed to start the process of preparing them for what life was going to be like. So Caleb broke down. Excuse me, best friends. Caleb broke down and started crying. Caleb broke down and started crying. And Kennedy got really quiet. And so, we wanted Caleb to talk through, how are you feeling? What are your emotions? And, you want to chime in?
It was difficult for me because like I've never had to have that type of conversation with kids at that age. And then to see Caleb have the emotions that he had, it got to me because I'm like, how do I help him articulate his feelings? How do I help him through that? How do I comfort him? How do I do all of these things? And at the end of the day, he's 9, but he's a man. Think about whenever you've seen a man in your life cry or be upset. It hits different, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Like it hits different when you see a man emotional. And I don't care how old the man is. It's literally is like a whole different scenario because we're naturally emotional. Like you're used to women crying. Like
this is the kid that broke his arm and did not bat
an eyelash with a broken arm.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it was. First of all, I commend Candy because I have to be honest, I wasn't brave enough to have the conversation because earlier when we were on our way, they heard the conversation that Candy was having with her grandmother, knowing that something was going on. And Kennedy is our question baby. She gonna question you down, especially if she hears something or she wants to know something. So she waited a little while Mom was driving to get to her father. She waited for a minute and she was like, so what exactly is going on with G-Dad at the hospital? And I gave a real watered down version. I was like, G-Dad was very sick. They had to do Because I've been asking, I said, do you want me to explain? And I guess I'm the power puff. Like I can't, how do I say that to 9-year-olds? Like I didn't know what to say. But I commend her because being loving, being caring, being gentle, and being sensitive, she was still able to have that difficult conversation that I don't know. It was hard for me to even articulate it. So I was just observing because I'm like, what if I'm in a position where I have to have a difficult conversation with them? I have to have that, what they say, leadership courage in the corporate America. I have to have that, and I have to be able to have those difficult conversations. So it was hard. It was hard.
Yeah. So it's it's been challenging. It's been challenging. I've just been doing, the best that I can. I've just, been trying to be strong for my dad and, strong for everybody else. And I don't know, just trying to over communicate to my siblings, because I know that they're having a very, very difficult time. When we were on the conference call and I was able to hear everybody's voice, you can hear the pain. Mm-hmm. You can hear, grown men in a lot of ways almost turn back into those little boys where they were scared. And it's like, sis, are you telling me Santa Claus ain't real? Mm. Sis, are you telling me? So sis, is this? I don't want to put words in your mouth, sis, but are you telling me that, the tooth fairy that would get the tooth from under my pillow and put the $5? You telling me that's not real? That's not. So then there was like 5 minutes of silence, and you could just cut it with a knife. Mm. You could just cut it with a knife. But everybody's got their own process, and most of the boys were trying to figure out how maybe by the weekend or so they can get here. Everybody's got businesses, and people are very far away, and families and children and spouses and so many moving parts. But a few of them wanted me to go in Dad's room and just put the phone on speaker. They just want us to just pour, And so Dad is conscious. He can hear everything, and he's moving and looking and, nodding and everything. And so you could just tell that he just was taking it in. But,
So best friend said, but how are you? You deserve it to be how you feel.
I don't know. I don't know. I would say I'm very sad, you know. Something has happened over the past couple of weeks. And over the past couple of weeks, my dad and I have been talking a lot and, just having conversations and everything. And I don't know. I was telling my mom yesterday and I was telling Sean a couple of days ago and my best friend, even probably the earlier part of the week, that I've seen my dad sober every day, for the past several days. And so the conversation has just been second to none. The love, just everything has just been everything that I dreamed of my whole life. And I don't know. I guess, and I don't know how this sounds, but I found myself over the past couple of weeks just falling deeply in love with my father. And so when I told my mom that yesterday, she laughed and she said, "You were always a daddy's girl for real." And I said, "Really?" And she said, "You loved him." And she said, "The reason why you gave him such a hard time was because you gave him your whole heart. And sometimes he would show up and he would do things that would hurt you. And so as a kid, sometimes we don't know how to process our emotions. When we want one thing and our parents show up and they do something else, or they're less than perfect, or maybe he would show up and he had been drinking a little too much, or something would happen. And I would be so mean to him. And I would be like, why are you doing this to me? Why you don't love me? And, all of this stuff. And it was because he was always Superman to me. He was always Superman to me. Even when he didn't see that he was Superman, he was always Superman to me. So I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time. But I'm because I'm a fixer, because I'm a nurturer, I'm making sure everybody else is okay first, because that's all I've ever known. It's just making sure everybody else was okay first. And so my prayer is that God will deal with me in his own time. I will go through my process, whatever that looks like. But I've not had time. I've not had time to breathe or think during this. But the day that it comes, it's going to be hard, best friend. Every single minute, I'm either on the phone, returning a call, on the text message, on this, on that, trying to make up time and do things for the businesses. And, I'm always playing catch up. The past week or so, I've been playing catch up. So there hasn't been that window of time where I had time to sit and process. And so the day that comes, it's going to be a difficult day because, I'm smart enough to know that when the doctors don't say what you need them to say, they say everything that they need to say. So, yeah, we're still prayerful, we're still hopeful, but it's a balance between not dealing with reality and operating according to what is, and not having faith. So it's a delicate balance between the two. And so, my prayer every day is that God will give my father the strength and everything that he needs to go through his part of this journey. Because I could imagine he's afraid, and in a lot of pain and very uncomfortable. And I will pray that my grandma gets everything that she needs to get through this journey, because she has not left his side. Sleeping on couches, sleeping in chairs, talking to doctors, and you see what I'm saying? Eating out of cafeterias. She's not left his side. So my prayer is that God will give her what she needs during this journey. And all of the kids, all 6 of us, that we would get what we need with this journey, and grandchildren, and, etc. So, it's a journey. It's a journey. But God makes no mistakes. And so, yeah, that's where we are, best friends, real talk. That's where we are. Any questions? Anybody have any questions? Any feedback?
There has been feedback. Let me go back to where I wanted to start. So Jackie said, "What do you need?" Latoya said, "Friend, take care of yourself."
Wait a minute. Let me answer the question. What do I need? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, best friends. I don't know. Relief from this asthma. I don't know. I have no idea. Yep. I have no idea.
Let me see. Margaret said that she said he's always going to be your Superman, and she will continue to pray for you and your family.
Thank you.
A lot of best friends giving prayers. Michelle, Lisa, Miss Danny said, please make sure that you take care of yourself so that you won't get sick trying to fix everything.
No, I will. I've been trying to eat, decent and everything, and drink plenty of water and everything. But yeah, like I said, it's just this asthma.
One of the best friends, and I can't find the comment now, she was just basically saying that she's never seen you like this, and she wants to just reach out and hug you.
Aww. Thank you.
Let me see. More prayers. Tawanda's praying. Cynthia's praying. Dana said you need to take care of yourself first because you won't be any good to anyone if you don't take care of yourself.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm definitely trying. That's why I'm gonna make sure I get into bed early because I'm going down, in the morning and everything. So it's so best friends, it's a balance because you don't know how much time you have. And then of course I do have to take care of myself and take care of the businesses and Sean and the kids and everything. But it's a balance. It's a balance. So I don't know. I wish I could be there around the clock, but of course I can't. But yeah, so it's a balance.
Dawn said, is there anything we can do for your grandmother?
Excuse me. I don't know. I every time I ask her, she says she's okay. Maybe just pray for her, I honestly don't know. She's very sweet, and I told you guys, she's, man, I've told y'all this story so many times. She's been through a lot, like, I don't know. I would say just pray, but definitely keep her in your prayers, but I don't know. Because every time I ask her, do she need anything? She's like, no, I'm okay. I'm okay, so, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What else you got? What's on your mind? What has this process been for you?
It's been, whenever you find yourself being in the support seat, because there's a time Candy has had to be this for me, and now I have to be this for her. It's difficult because I feel helpless at times, and I don't want to make it about me because it's not about me. But when you love somebody, when you care about somebody, you want to try to fix it for them and you want to try to make them feel better. But sometimes I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. And yeah, so it's been hard for me. It's been hard for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm just trying to make sure that I pick up all of the rest of the plates that she's normally spinning, because she spins so many. And I'm trying to take as many of them from her as she can so that she can...
You've been doing everything because I haven't been able to do anything.
So that she can be there for herself, for her father, for her babies, for her grandmother. So I'm just trying to make sure that I'm being whatever she needs me to be. And I feel like I need to ask her more. Like the simple question that the best friend said, what do you need? I haven't even had that. I've never even asked her. And I just sat here and realized, why haven't I asked her that? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know. Not that I don't know why you haven't asked. I literally don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I need. I don't know what I need. I don't know. I mean, I know how I feel. I know I'm sad, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Jackie said we all need to keep hydrated. That's one thing we do is we do drink a lot of water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Romelda sending prayers. Oh, Auntie Fee said, how's your mom?
Oh,
Praying for her as well.
let me tell y'all this. This is the real conversation, best friends. So my dad has 6 children by 4 women. Okay. Most of us were, he had us young, So my daddy was, you know what I'm saying? Y'all seen how handsome he was. So you can imagine in his late teens, early 20s, he. So all jokes aside, what comes with that is even when it's a situation of a relationship that was 30 plus years ago, you see what I'm saying? You still have a connection to that person. There's still a friendship. So in my mind, my mom, along with everybody else's mom, is having a process too. You see what I'm saying? And so everybody, when I talk to my siblings, everybody's mom is having a process. Everybody's mom is having a process because he was a lot to a lot of people. So I joke about it, but that's when we were on the conference call, that was the common denominator. Like everybody's mom is having a process. You understand what I'm saying? Because the person who they dated years ago, fast forward, they dated in their late teens, early 20s, but then now everybody in their late 50s, early 60s, they're friends or they're cordial. Or even if they don't talk, they have a child in common.
Yeah, you still have a place.
So every time you look at that child, you think of that father. So, and then when you see your child hurting, as a mother, you hurt. So everybody's mom is having a process. Yeah.
Yolanda said they will always say, talking about you and me trying to figure out to be there for you, she said they will always say they are okay because they do not want to stress you out or add more to your plate. I have been there. She said people can send you cash cards for gas or for us to be able to send you a care package, water, chips, or have food delivered. That's so sweet.
Oh, that's sweet.
Sharon said praying for you.
Yeah, this gas is crazy because baby.
My Christ said, best friend, please take care of yourself and asthma. I am an asthma sufferer as well, and I'm holding my breath with every cough. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Them lungs be, whoo, child. Them lungs.
Dana said, I can understand your numbness in balancing this. You have been right there with my dad as he went through something similar. Your strength is remarkable, but please know when you get tired, your BFFs are here for you, Sean and the babies. Thank you, Dana.
I definitely appreciate it. And I'm telling you guys, I'm not one of those people who, pretends to be okay if they not. I know when I release, it's gonna be, it's gonna be something. The release is going to come, trust me. Because the whole thing just makes me, I done been through every emotion, being anxious. Y'all seen me Saturday where I had the brain fog and I couldn't figure out, couldn't figure out what to do. And then, the nervousness, and then my stomach was messed up, and you guys see me, and then I'm sad, and then I sit and I can't get up and do anything, where I seemingly don't know what I should be doing. And I've gone through a lot of different emotions. The crying hasn't come though. That hasn't come, but I'm sure at some point it's gonna come because I'm a very, emotional person. And I've never dealt with a parent being sick to this magnitude. The only sickness that I've dealt with is my mom finding out she was diabetic and then her having COVID, but it was nothing compared to this. So this is a very new space for me. I've never dealt with a parent being this sick, but you have to also factor in, I put that aside and I'm thinking about my 3 brothers, right? So out of 6 of us, Dad was married to the mom of, the 3, right? Their mom died years ago. You see what I'm saying? Not a whole lot of years ago, but, 4 or 5 years ago. So theoretically, after him, so one of my brothers was like, sis, I already lost my mom. What you trying to say to me? He was like, sis, I already lost my mom already gone. And I'm talking about men that's probably not even 30, maybe. You know? So, but he literally was like, sis, I already lost my mama. What is it that you're trying to say to me? And I was like, well, baby, you know, like thank you very much for the stars, best friend. So yeah, but I don't know.
Michelle said, well, since I have been watching you all, Candy always seems to have the answers, and to hear her tonight and not knowing it is really breaking my heart. And I don't know you personally, but I'm like the other lady. I wish I could give you a big hug, best friend. Sean, when you get off live, give her a big hug from her best friends. I definitely will.
Listen, let me tell y'all. Sometimes when I go through stuff, Sean is very nurturing. So I just lay in her lap. Tonight probably gonna be one of them nights where I run a bubble bath and I take a bath and I put on my little comfy PJs and my favorite little footies and I just lay in her lap. Like after we put the kids to bed, I told her, I said, can you pack orders in the morning? Like, can you do that, you know, once I'm gone or whatever? I just want to lay in her lap because it's safe there. I just want to lay in her lap.
Well, you got it. Sometimes my stomach get in the way on my lap, but I suck it in.
Right. Yeah.
Now, I know how you feel about this. I'm just going to tell you what your best friends are saying. At least 3 people so far as I'm scrolling have asked you to post your Cash App or your Zelle because they want to help with gas, food, etc. That's up to you. That make you that judgment call. So I'm just telling you what your best friends did.
I don't even know what it is. Thank you very much. It's my cray. My cray.
Is that like my cray? Or like what that stand for?
My cray for the star. I don't even know what my Cash App is. All my Cash App is used to do is send money for the kids.
Pretty much.
When Sean be like, girl, your kids asked for this and I'll be like, girl, here. My Cash App is to go out. I don't even know what it is. I don't even know. Sean may know. I don't know. If you want to put it down there, you can put it down there. But trust me, y'all. When I say this ain't that kind of page, this ain't even that kind of page.
You can see our reservation. Like we don't.
Because then people gonna be tearing us up, girl. People gonna be they gonna be tearing us up in the blog or whatever. It's up to you, Sean. If you want to put it down there, you can put it down there. But again, I want you guys to know.
My friend said, y'all know best friend don't do Cash App. You know us. Like we like.
Cause girl, the people gonna be like, y'all scamming. Y'all scamming, girl. Candy, girl. They'll be like, girl, they'll be lying, girl.
Right.
They'll be like every week, girl.
Right. They'll be like, oh, so next this week.
They gonna be like, it's gonna be a grandmama next week, and then the week after that, it's gonna be your uncle, and it's like.
And we always tell people if we need something, we get out and get it. Like that's what we do. So yeah, but I appreciate it. I know where you guys' hearts are coming from, and I'm very grateful to you guys, and I appreciate that because I appreciate the care and the concern that you guys have. We just are very
Yeah. It's up to you. It's up to you. I don't know. Cause if I don't, my best friend gonna be like, girl, when God is trying to do something, you know, I'm gonna hit.
Yeah, your best friend probably gonna get on you for that as well. So, you know, typically when we do that, we be like, you know, always go to one of these websites. That way you get something out of the deal. It's not one-sided. Margaret said, we know that we are your best friends and we love you so much. Forget what those people say. We are grown and we do what we want to do. Gail said it's different.
April said you already know. I knew she seen the video. I knew she was on here. She seen the video, yeah. When I say this lady be on top of my head, girl, she be sitting right here. She be sitting right here, girl. She be sitting right here. Look at the top to this. Oh, I dropped it. Look, she be sitting right here, girl, on top of my head.
Gail said the same. She said, "Don't block best friend's blessings. Why are you blocking her?" But okay,
all right, best friend.
All right.
Sean got it.
Look it up because I don't even. Okay, hold on.
Sean got it.
I have it because that's when she's sending the money. She's sending it to me. So let me find it.
She ain't.
Okay, here it is. She said, "We understand givers don't know how to receive." That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Okay, here we go. Here we go, best friend.
Thank you very much, best friend.
Again, we're not asking. Let me just put that there. So if anybody try to say it. Did I spell it right? Okay, there we go. And then what I do? Do I do this? Okay, there we go. She said, just true to my auntie says, don't block the blessings others try to do for you. Okay, best friends. There it is. Okay. Okay, best friend. Girl, it's getting down. Oh, okay, there we go.
Would you say
there
that
it
again?
is. There it is.
Thank
Okay.
y'all, best
So,
friends.
now, there.
They said exactly.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
When I say I love y'all for real, you guys are too much. I love you for real.
Auntie Fee said, I already got your cash up.
She got a cash up.
Because back in the day when we used to do the raffles,
Oh.
like that, yeah, she's like, so Auntie Fee, like, you can talk all that noise you want to, but
Girl, I was gonna say Auntie Fee bailed me out of jail. That one time, no, just Auntie Fee. I gotta laugh, y'all. Auntie Fee sent some bail money that time back in 2001. They probably even had cash out back then.
that is too funny.
That's funny.
But do you feel up to doing your 3 questions or?
Yes, I would love to. I want to serve. How can I serve you guys? I still want to serve. I want to serve.
Yes. So you guys know every time Candy comes on, she always wants to serve you guys. So does anybody, she usually takes 3 questions in her video. Business questions, life questions, however she can serve you, that's what she likes to do. So if you have 3 questions, go ahead and post those. I'll take those first 3 questions, and then I'm gonna have to take little mama upstairs so that she can try to, get herself together.
Fell asleep.
Get herself together.
You gonna rub my back?
Yes, I'll give you a massage if you want to. But she needs to rest her. Like when I tell you, Candy has been talking all day to the point where I was teaching the kids and I was like, Mommy's on the phone. Caleb's like, she been on the phone since she woke up. Her whole attitude. Like, she has been on the phone, like with her family, with business, like nonstop. Like, she needs to rest. Yeah. Even if she don't say another word to me tonight, I'm fine with that.
How are the twins doing?
How are these? Oh, you know what they are doing? They're doing very well. Kids are very resilient, best friends. Can I be honest? Like, you can tell that it affects them, but they're so resilient. Like, they still got baseball, softball. They look forward to their TV shows, their games, like all of that stuff. So they are such resilient little people. They're very loving. Kennedy is so nurturing, even at 9. So she's constantly asking, how is G-Dad? Mommy, how are you feeling? She can tell when mommy's hurting, so she'll just run in the room and climb up into her lap. She knows that makes her happy.
She did that earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caleb's been asking, so yeah. So they're good. They're good.
Yeah, the kids are. Caleb, but I would say out of the 2 of them, Caleb is having a little bit more of a hard time than Ken, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so we love you back. Yolanda said we love you both and here for you. Thank you so much, best friend. Aww. We appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you.
Tracy said black coffee helps with asthma. I don't even drink.
I guess I'm gonna be asthmatic for the rest of my life. And I have no idea when I say I'm gonna need a home remedy, but baby, I don't know if black coffee gonna be able to be it for me.
Yeah. So Pamela, is that a question? Because I was still waiting for the 3 questions. Is that a question or are you just telling us? Let me know, Pamela. Is that a question or are you just trying to tell us what happened? Candy Reese said, I don't see the cash app. Did it disappear? I see it right there. I don't know what happened. Hold on one second. Oh, so what it is, best friends, is at the bottom. If you see my profile picture, it's like a little pin in my profile picture. If you hit that, it'll come out for you and you'll be able to see it. But it's just $ Candy S, like Sincerity Johnson. Candy S Johnson.
Candy CANDY S Johnson.
So yes, that's a question. Okay, so this is your first question. This is a relationship question. So Pamela said, I'm a divorced senior and I met a very handsome man that I danced all night with. We exchanged phone numbers. I called him 2 days later. We had a 3-hour conversation. He wanted to take me on a date, said that he would contact me, and I haven't heard from him. Have I been ghosted?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Does he text? I would just text and just say, hey, how you doing? Just checking in. And then just see what he says. But yeah, I don't necessarily think so. Something could have happened. Life is happening. Something could have happened. Maybe he got sick, maybe something happened to somebody close to him, a family member, a friend. You don't know. So maybe he just got busy. I wouldn't make any assumptions. I will say this, and this is just, don't get mad, fellas. They might see this video. I have heard from a lot of my straight friends that men, regardless of age, tend to be very inconsistent when it comes to the dating phase. They'll say something and they'll make all these promises. I want to take you out. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then you may not hear from them, and then they pop back up, and then whatever. So I would just send a text or a call real quick and just say, hey, I hadn't heard from you. I just wanted to make sure everything was all right, and then just let him guide the conversation from there. But one of the things that I would do if that bothers you, that sort of thing, that inconsistency, is I would just say, hey, I'm really enjoying, our getting to know you phase. And so, what I would like, of course, I know, you're free, you're single, I'm single, we're getting to know each other and perhaps other people. All right. But one of the things that I would like during this new friendship is, consistency. One of the things that I find really, really, really attractive in a man like you is consistency. There's nothing that turns me on more than a consistent man. That way it removes that whole, I got expectations of you. Because then when men feel like that, you got expectations of them, that's like a red flag. That's like them saying, too much. I don't know you. We ain't that. You see what I'm saying? But when you poise it and you position a best friend and you say, there's nothing that turns me on that's more sexy than a consistent man. Mm-hmm. Then that gives him incentive. Men love incentive. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Question number 2. Cynthia said, how did you explain it to the kids?
So, very good question, best friend. Do you remember how I positioned?
So she was very honest about it. She said, earlier when we were going to see G-Dad, she said, I got a call and they were trying to save G-Dad's life. Things happened and he got really, really sick, and they had to do some things in order to try to save his life, which is why when we got there, they had to move him to a room. She said they moved him to a part of the hospital where the really, 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 really sick patients go. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why you couldn't see G-Dad. She said that's the place where, if doctors have to rush in or nurses have to rush in and do something very serious, they don't want kids around because it could be scary for them. They don't want them to be in the way or things like that. And so she was just very honest about it. And she really put it at a 9-year-old level where they could understand. It wasn't like adding a little fluff to it or whatever like that. She was just very honest. And she said, there may come a day. She said, I don't know when. I'm not trying to speak it into existence. But there could come a day where we get the phone call. And it's going to be a very difficult phone call where G-Dad might not be with us anymore. And I was sitting in the passenger seat.
Yeah, because as I'm having this conversation, I'm driving, but I'm looking, behind me because we're in the truck. I'm looking. So I'm driving and I'm looking, and I hear sniffling, and I hear Caleb, take his little legs and ball up in the seat and all of that. And I was like, are you okay? Do you need anything? Do you need me to pull over? Or do you need me to, do you need anything? And he was like, no. Mm-hmm. And he just, got quiet, And so, it's a journey. It's going to be a journey. Because, it's so many unknown factors. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
One of the best friends was wondering if she had sent it to the wrong Cash App. So this is Candy's Cash App. So as long as you see this face, that little face right there, that's how you know it's hers. But there's no periods, no dots, no numbers, no nothing like that. It's just Candy S. Johnson. If you see that little picture of her.
Candy.
Mm-hmm.
Candy.
Let me see.
S. Johnson.
There was another question. Where did it go? The last question. Oh, Gail said, how do you save money when you don't have enough to meet all obligations on a fixed income? That was the third question.
So the long and short is you can't. So you can't, if you don't have enough money to meet all the obligations, then you can only do two things. You got to trim some of the obligations, or you got to increase your revenue. So if you're on a fixed income, typically for most people, that's your Social Security or your disability, etc. And oftentimes there may or may not be rules attached to, getting another stream of revenue or starting a business or whatever. So with that being said, I would first look into the rules of the income source that you have coming in. Are there rules that suggest that you can't start a business or that you can't have other streams of revenue that come in? Oftentimes, you guys listen to me and you think that the main thing I'm going to push you towards is starting a business. But I come to know that everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur and everybody don't want to be an entrepreneur. Another thing that you may want to do is you could be a social media influencer. You could be a content creator. I had a whole conversation with one of my brothers about monetizing your page. We had a long, drawn out conversation about that earlier. And so just telling your story, I mean, that could be a huge thing. You get all kind of bonuses and ad revenue and all sorts of things. So you didn't ask me for that about the content creation. But what I would suggest is first looking at, are there any expenditures or expenses that you can cut or reduce? If the answer is no, or if you've trimmed as much fat as you can there, then the next thing that I would look at is, are there ways within this income stream that I'm allowed to add other revenue streams? Does my disability, does my Social Security, does my retirement, plan allow me to also add other streams of revenue? If the answer is yes, then I would look at other streams of revenue that match what your skill set, ability, desire, etc. are, and find something that would add income there.
Yeah. And like Candy said, it doesn't have to be going out and getting a job by any means. If everybody comes to you every Christmas looking for your Christmas cookies, there it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be all sorts of things. Sophia said, rest, both of you have a blessed evening. Thank you, Miss Sophia. We are. That was the 3 questions, and I think she has pushed it to the limit. So
yeah. But I appreciate all of you guys' thoughts, your prayers, everything. I tell you all the time, this community is probably more for me than for you guys. I show up and I try to add value, but you guys know, like I'm not the most social person. If I could be honest, if it's not my best friend, if it's not, Kennedy, Caleb, Sean, and my family, for the most part, I don't talk to a lot of people. So this is literally it for me. And I find more pleasure in building our community online than having 50 friends calling my phone all day. This is literally it's just a breath of fresh air for me. So I look forward to our time together. I look forward to you guys pouring into me and me pouring into you, and just a positive vibe in the environment that we've created. I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing day. Make sure your notifications are on, because I will certainly be live again. I have a surprise for you guys. I can't say right now what the surprise is, and you better not stay online. But I have a surprise tomorrow, because I'm going to visit my dad, but I have something that I want to talk to you guys about tomorrow evening. So the conversation is not going to be me and my dad, but I have something I want to talk to you guys about. Let's just leave it there. Okay. I love you guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Good night, best friend.
Good night.